What if the places where we love to spend time never existed? What if those designers who built and curated the spaces that we love never made them? Would our outlook of a city be the same? This Passport Destination episode focuses on a few designers and a museum who see the use of architecture and interior design as a curated experience that communicates thoughts and culture, but mostly how it impacts our lives.
The National Building Museum was established in 1980 by an act of Congress as a private, nonprofit educational institution dedicated to the building arts and sciences. And we occupy a historic building built as the Pension Bureau offices. And we opened to the public in 1985. Our mission at the National Building Museum is to inspire curiosity in the world that we design and build. We're not just a museum of architecture. We do look at other aspects of the design and building industries. We look at the impact of the designed environment on people's lives. We talk about how people live and work and play in buildings, and also how they can have an impact on the built environment, which is also very important. A few years ago, the National Building Museum had the idea to start what we call the Summer Block Party, which was really a series of events but focused around a large-scale installation here in the Great Hall. That continued with icebergs, which was an abstraction of an iceberg landscape with a water level between the first and second floors of the building museum, so that you came in and sensed that you were underwater and actually seeing the bottoms of these quote-unquote icebergs. So we hope to keep building on that. We're looking at some very pointed exhibitions over the next couple of years addressing sometimes very difficult social issues. One of the great things about the Building Museum is that we're very responsive and very quick to be able to react to issues that emerge. And so we've really been, I think, at the forefront of some of the topics that have been discussed among architects and designers and the general public over the years. I think when most people think of Washington, D.C. architecture, they tend to think of neoclassical architecture, largely because of the Capitol, other major monuments of federal government architecture. That's only a small part of the story. For people who live in Washington, D.C., it's just as with most cities, it's really about the neighborhoods. There's a lot going on that's very exciting in Washington architecture and planning right now, particularly with regard to the rediscovery of the waterfront. There's a real rediscovery of the waterfront as a desirable place to be for residences, for mixed-use communities, restaurants, and I think that's going to continue to happen as we keep on developing areas along the waterfront, creating new neighborhoods that in many ways really have their own distinct character already. So I think that diversification is going to continue to happen, and we're going to keep making Washington, D.C. a more and more interesting place.
As the National Building Museum tells the story of the built environment and how it impacts our lives, Swatch Room, a design, art, and fabrication firm, started their company by asking questions to see how they can create better design solutions.
What if a design firm really did things differently? What if you could put a bunch of people in a room that don't have the same skill sets or the same expertise, and would you get a better creative solution to a problem if everyone had different backgrounds? Philosophically, Swatch Room was born out of what if. We have formalized that more. Warren Wexler and myself met while collaborating on a project and continue to have conversations about both of our careers, the ways in which we could provide service but also create.
There are a lot of things with this industry that we just didn't like or we thought could be better. And so when we merged, the overarching message was, let's create a company that does the things that are different or disruptive to the pieces of the industry that we didn't like before, and let's not repeat those things. Innovation is really key to us at this moment as we grow. And every project is different, every concept has its own narrative, and if we can innovate within that narrative and really deliver a great product, a great service, and a great space to the general public to experience, then we've done our job.
I think the new community center is the restaurant, hotel lobby intersection, and restaurants provide that now where the mall doesn't really provide that for people any longer, or a library doesn't necessarily provide that for people, but this engaged space where you can enjoy somebody else's cooking, frankly. think that, you know, it's an inevitable and fortunate thing, actually, that those are our new community centers. One of our projects is called Poca Madre, which literally means just to be awesome. It's slang. And the chef really was thoughtful about making sure that not only the menu, but that the interior reflected really specific messages to his culture and to the way in which he is engaging with his community. I'm very proud that we were able to imbue the space with this other narrative.
If we can keep creating new and fresh places and people walk in and just say, wow, someone actually considered these details, or this is really clever, or the statement that they really outdid themselves, this is better than the last one, I think is always a goal of ours. And if that can be cyclical, where we continue to do great work and that means we can continue to give back, then I think we've won as a company, but hopefully as a creative community, we can all do that.
As Swatch Room uses thoughtful placemaking in their work, Kayonda Powell Design Studio uses her vision and execution to create spaces that tell stories and make residents feel comfortable in their own homes.
I like to say that my superpower is to be able to read people and see into the future. And in seeing into the future, it's basically being able to say, you know what, I know what that space is going to look like. I need you to trust the process, trust the vision, and know that the end result is going to be something that will surpass your imagination and your wildest dreams and anything that you could have ever hoped for. It's important for those spaces to be transformed physically, but also through the experience. Kayonda Powell Design Studio was formed in 2018, and the mission is to create transformative spaces, but not just in the physical form. We also want to transform the experience in creating an environment that is interesting, also with thoughtful and detailed, tailored experiences within the space. There are many elements to design and in spaces that we all experience as humans, and so it's important to make sure we've hit on those marks, and those include, you know, making sure that the space is comfortable. Do we have the right seating? Is it durable? Is it soft to the touch? Is the temperature right? Are the lights set to the right tone? You know, is the music just right? So these are things that we try to make sure are incorporated in any design to make sure that, you know, everyone is comfortable and enjoying their environment. And so that's important for me, to be able to tell the story and create these feel-good moments. So some of the projects that I've had an opportunity to work on, one of my favorites is definitely the Dream Village. It's a co-working space for creatives and creatives of color. But what was important for us at Dream Village was to make sure this was a more intimate setting, one where we encourage the communal work setting, and definitely made sure to have images and references of cultural things that were important to people of color in the space to make them feel comfortable. I also have a handful of residential projects that I get to enhance people's homes, and that's always fun when I'm invited in to do that. I love when my clients are trusting of me to create something for them that reflects their style and enhances how they live, how they work and entertain in their space. Being able to push it to just the next level to make sure that we've created a comfortable environment for them, and ultimately is just, you know, a respite or a place where they can retreat to and enjoy it for years to come. Variety is the spice of life, so I think it's very important for us to have representation across the board in interior design and any other industry as well. It's important for us to have these different perspectives and to be able to tell a story and to experience a story from other cultures, other facets of life. All of these things are super important for us to be able to have that image out there so that those coming behind us have that as something to look forward to and something to emulate and something to strive for and beyond.
Everything from the exterior to the inside of a building is a planned experience. Each one of these experiences contributes to making DC a culturally engaging place, one location at a time. This is Passport Destination.